Tonight, 13 Investigates is looking into the cost of Judge Lina Hidalgo's trade mission to Paris this summer. The request for commissioners to approve the judge's travel came at the same time commissioners were debating pay raises for deputies.
Ultimately, Judge Hidalgo's request was denied, and she had to use her campaign funds to pay for it. 13 Investigates' Micah Hatfield breaks down just how much the trip ended up costing and who she brought along.
According to Harris County's travel policy, commissioners have to approve international travel. Earlier this summer, they did not approve using taxpayer money to fund Judge Lina Hidalgo's trip to Paris for a trade mission. So she turned to her campaign finances to pay for it and hasn't let commissioners forget it. A well-documented trade mission to Paris by Judge Lina Hidalgo and team. Photos and posts on her social media show meetings with business leaders and dignitaries. Captions read, they were deepening ties between Harris County and France. They say a photo is worth 1,000 words, but those words don't explain what led up to the photos in the city of love.
To request.
In early May, Judge Hidalgo asked county commissioners to approve her using taxpayer money that was in her office's budget for herself and essential members of her staff to travel with members of the Greater Houston Partnership and Rice University on a trade mission to Paris. That request was denied. 2 weeks later, she again asked fellow commissioners to approve her using taxpayer money for the trip, specifically $23,000, and she would bring 4 members of her staff.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay, motion fails.
32.
Okay, so let's
32.
2 to 3.
let's move to resolutions. Okay, so the resolution is, you know what? Let me make another motion here.
Judge Hidalgo then asked to use $11,000 instead and said she would bring only 2 members of her staff with her. Commissioners Briones, Ramsey, and Garcia voted no again, meaning taxpayers would not be funding it. But that didn't end up meaning that she couldn't go. Judge Hidalgo used donations to her political campaign to fund the trip.
The rules are very flexible in how the office holders can use their funds, so long as they are publicly disclosed.
Her campaign finance report was filed last month and detailed the expenses for the trip. The report shows Judge Hidalgo took 5 people with her from June 8th to June 15th to Paris. Her chief of staff, director of special projects, chief of external affairs, director of economic development, and the director of policy. Here's the costs as listed in her campaign finance report. $25,000 on lodging, more than $17,000 on airfare, and more than $300 to Uber. No meals were listed. We asked Jonathan Neerman, a campaign finance advisor out of Dallas who served previously as the chairman of the Dallas County Republican Party, if the spending was an appropriate use of campaign funds. He says yes.
So there are 2 different things. One is whether the Ethics Commission would allow it. The other is would the donors be okay with it. That's really where the bigger issue may lie for her, is when donors find out how she's using these funds, are they okay with it?
In total, the trip cost her campaign just under $43,000. According to her finance report, that's thousands of dollars more than she brought in contributions during the same period.
And that's why they're all publicly disclosed, because it gives donors a chance to look and see how you're spending the money.
Judge Hidalgo touted the connections made during the trip in subsequent commissioners' court meetings, including securing visits to Houston from international organizations within the next year. But she's let commissioners know that she has not forgotten about their refusal to let her use her county funds to pay for the trip.
It's a lot of really valuable meetings. Obviously, $20,000 is what a little party costs in some of these big precincts. I just want to point out, obviously, the rhetoric was disappointing about the trade mission. I don't think that we need to be sort of maligning work to pursue international business and opportunities.
We asked Judge Hidalgo's county team if we could speak to her on camera about the trip and the expenses, but they told us that she's deep in budget season. So we sent her county team a list of questions. They sent us a copy of the itinerary for the trip, but told us that since her campaign is who funded it, that we needed to reach out to them. We did, and we sent them a list of questions, but we were told that since she doesn't have an active campaign right now, there's no one who can answer those questions. Judge Hidalgo has also tried several times to amend the county's travel policy as it relates to international travel, but it's gotten voted down. Micah Hatfield, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.